It's been a 2-month court battle in South African courts between the Zambian government and the Lungu family, and the legal standoff is far from over. The Lungu family has approached the High Court for leave to appeal its judgment in the Supreme Court. In its papers, the family argues that the full bench, which heard the matter earlier this week, erred in granting the Zambian government its wish to repatriate President Edgar Lungu's body. The High Court will now consider the Lungu family's application for leave to appeal, and if granted, the matter will be heard in the Supreme Court. Khomzo Modise, Eyewitness News.
Speaking outside an engagement in Vereniging south of Johannesburg, Ramaphosa emphasized that logistical arrangements are in place, including released funds, a secure venue, and an operation center that's already functioning. He said thousands of invites have been sent out to a broad mix of stakeholders, from community leaders, business, labor, to government representatives, to ensure inclusive participation. The president confirmed the first part of the dialogue, the National Convention, will kick off next week Friday, with him delivering the opening address to hundreds of attendees.
Dialogue is going to go ahead. The people of South Africa want the dialogue to go ahead. Of course, with an undertaking of this nature, there will always be hiccups here and there.
Ramaphosa said despite the criticism, the dialogue is a necessary platform to address South Africa's deepening socio-economic challenges.
The show is on the road. The caravan is moving.
Monge Zikoko, Eyewitness News.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
#MSW. You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High-dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind and execution.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Great show as always, Darop.
Thank you, Mr. Marawa. Good show as always.
Great show as always. Thanks.
Great show as always.
Great show as always, Rob. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the wonderful show, Robert. Thank you so much.
It always gives me pleasure to speak to someone who's got such an insight.
And Rob, I think you owe me that MSW cap. And the one thing I know for sure, it's a lucky cap, and I need that lucky charm. I want to go to Betway Premiership commentary now. All of a sudden.
You know, it's very rare that somebody commentates wanting a cap. You could hear he was starting to sound like the late Dumila Majaza. Want your cap, chap? Old Mama Lapong Kabi.
And to the legendary Dennis Onyango and Pasatini, congratulations on your move. As you can see, my voice is a bit down because I really thought you would join my beloved team Kaizer Chiefs. It did not happen, but I'm wishing you nothing but the best. What are his future ambitions? Does he see himself retiring at Sundowns, or is past the ambitions of playing overseas?
Now your dream has come true. You are at Sundowns.
So growing up, the bigger picture was always Europe, and I mean Sundowns is a good platform to achieve that dream.
Pass it in. So let me go to Tepo in Volksluras. Tepo, good evening. Do you want the jersey or do you want to talk to us?
Either one of the two. Everything, Darop.
So I think the question is, what's my jersey number?
Yo.
No, so is it 21?
Is it 21?
No.
Tepo Papai. Masa is on the line here as well.
Hi, Rob.
But you heard the question though, so do you know the answer?
23 is the number.
You sound very confident.
I was watching the game. I was at Morito on Sunday.
Yeah, that's correct.
Come on, Fawaz. Come on.
Jersey 23. Jersey 23 is a big jersey. Hey, it's a Michael Jordan jersey.
Yeah.
It's a David Beckham jersey. It's everybody who wears 23.
It's the day of my birthday as well.
100%. Which month?
December.
Hey, we got no money, boss. Too
Robert Marawa, live on 947.
Let's go.
Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
It is a very, very busy Friday, I can tell you that much, but what an honor, what a pleasure to introduce to you in a second my guest tonight. She'll be with us up until around about past. We'll see if we can drag 1 minute or two from that arrangement that we do have with her. But so much, though, on the go, on the sporting front. A busy, busy weekend. We're all looking forward to it. Also in the courts. Hey, can you imagine? Sport being played in the courtrooms. My goodness, it's been a busy day. Arbitration, court hearings, you name it. But Bafana drawing against Algeria in Chan. It is Marawa Sports Worldwide. Proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
Let's go!
The moments you remember. The games you can't forget. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets.
All right, let's dive straight into the matter, and that's why I'm saying that tonight we're going to be breaking the mold slightly. In fact, we're going to be flipping the script, and we bring you a mind that the world's biggest sports stars, entertainment giants, and also global brands turn to her for strategy. They turn to her for success and staying power. She's not just a professor. I mean, she's a powerhouse straight out of Harvard University, straight out of the Harvard Business School, and where sport meets business. The entertainment kind of meets the intellect. You marry those two, and you get to understand the level of giant that we have here in studio tonight. And I mean, she's worked with the likes of LeBron James, Jay-Z, Serena Williams. The list is too long. It would be listing until past. I mean, she studied how legends are made. So remember, on Fridays, we normally host the legends here. So today we're going to understand how those legends are made, how dynasties are built, and how empires actually rise. And hence we welcome a global thought leader, strategic visionary, and also one of the most respected voices in the business of sport, Professor Anita Albersi. Good to see you, Prof. What an honor, what a pleasure. Welcome firstly to South Africa. I know it's been a very busy landing since you arrived, but good to see you in person.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much. And I think I might hire you as my publicist going forward. That was quite the introduction there.
Oh, man, that would be such an honor. But I'm sure, like I was saying, and I'm not lying, though, that when you go through the body of work that you've put together, it's highly impressive. And that is why globally, everybody calls upon your expertise to learn a lot. And we're looking forward to what's going to be happening Monday, Tuesday, courtesy of Primedia here. We'll give you all the details a little bit later on, though. But a great time to be here. And, you know, we celebrate Women's Month in August. Tomorrow, officially Women's Day. So happy Women's Month and happy Women's Day to you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's actually part of the reason why we've added to the Masterclass a case specifically on women's sports, right? Because there's so much growth in women's sports that particularly this month seems a good month to be talking about how one can grow women's sports.
And is women's sport gaining momentum? I mean, I watch my television, I see women's football, for example, dominating the world stages, fans attending at numbers that we've never seen before. I see women's tennis, again, earning the same as the men's. I see a lot of equality. That off the field, off the court battles have kind of been won. Is that a true reflection, though, of where we are?
I don't know if we're quite there yet. Definitely in tennis, but we've been there for quite some time, that the salaries and the prize money is actually relatively similar across men and women. But if you look at other sports, there's huge differences. If you look at women's basketball in the United States, for instance, I think the rookie salary of a woman starting is about 150th of a rookie salary of a man starting, right? So I think it's $70,000 for a female player. It's for the highest paid rookie, the maximum is $10 million. And so we're talking about huge differences, even in relatively established leagues.
And the fight for the equality, what's the barrier?
Well, I think there's a number of factors. Obviously, many of these leagues are still relatively young, and so there's a lot of infrastructure that needs to be built up. But one of the things I'm really keen to talk about during the masterclass as well is to what extent maybe these are self-fulfilling prophecies. If we believe that if we see growth in women's sports, that it might be just a spike that is about to disappear, we respond very differently than if we think that, no, this is growth and it's going to keep on growing. And so if we believe that what we're seeing now is not just a spike, but is actually something that has a solid fundamental and that there is a growing market and a very strong market for women's sports, then maybe investors are more likely to put serious money in it. Maybe people are more likely to take risks when they say this is what this is the prize money we set for women, or these are the salaries or the salary caps that we set for women. And so it's a hard cycle to break if you've been in a cycle in which you're constantly underpaid. But if I think the more we look into it, the more we see, well, some of it is actually self-induced. And if we believe that there's a serious market, then maybe we actually are acting differently, and that in turn will then actually help women's sports.
But are you saying it from a consumer perspective? When I say consumer, from a television perspective, that there's a greater warming up towards understanding that a women's game or females in the commentary business, for example, within the broadcasting sector, do just as equally a good job as what their male counterparts have been able to do for centuries and centuries, and that at times maybe the traditionalist finds it so difficult to actually accept that equality, and that maybe might be still an existing barrier within the commercial or the commercialization of it overall.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you only have to be confronted with some of the evidence to realize, oh, maybe there is something to this, right? If you see that, again, women's basketball, because I've been looking into this quite a bit. But if you see that women's basketball, some of the top games actually draw a greater number of audiences than men's basketball teams, even those at the highest levels, well, then you might say, well, wait a minute, if I'm an advertiser, if I advertise alongside those games, I actually, for a relatively low amount, can reach a huge amount of people. And so looking just at the statistics might make you want to change your mind and really put some money behind it.
The blockbuster strategy. It might be not just the title of the book that you've authored, but it's also a strategy within itself. Investing in superstars. What more can you tell us about that strategy, maybe for somebody hearing about it for the very first time?
Yeah, it's actually pretty simple. We're not that complicated at the Harvard Business School. But the idea is really that content producers of all kinds, whether it's team owners, sports team owners, or league owners, or whether it's film studios or television networks, they need to be willing to take big swings. It feels very scary to say invest $200 million in making one movie, or to invest $800 million in a video game, which is what's currently happening, or to say we're going to be paying some of these stars top dollars. It feels very scary, but when you look into the numbers, it actually very often is the safest strategy, right? To make one $200 million film is actually less risky than to make 5 $40 million films. It doesn't feel that way, but if you actually run the numbers, then that's what is very much proven. And so that's the mindset, I think, that good, smart business people in the world of entertainment, media, and sports need to have. That's the blockbuster strategy that you want to adopt.
I heard you mention a number, but you quickly moved away, and I was like, what, $800 million for the video games now? Is that where we sit?
Yeah, and that's actually one of the other cases we're going to be discussing in the masterclass. There's currently a video game being developed in the United States by Take-Two, and it's called Grand Theft Auto 6. The name itself will tell you a little bit what the game is going to be about. And everyone who's into gaming is highly anticipating. It's been a while since the last Grand Theft Auto 5. But that game is costing already anywhere between $800 million and $1 billion just in development cost, and the game isn't finished yet. So they have another few months to work on it. The idea is to release it in May of 2026. And so, yeah, those are huge numbers. And so this is a company that's willing to take really big swings.
But obviously that's the new direction. I look at it also in a global perspective, and I look at games and gaming and the participation levels of it. And because it can actually be done within a global competition perspective without you physically having to be there, I mean, did anyone ever envisage that we would be in this particular space where that kind of dominates more than what was traditional sport?
Well, I mean, I wrote the book in 2013, so I was
Already?
expecting that these numbers would keep going up. But even these kind of budgets, I mean, are really surprising me in many ways.
But what did you foresee, though? Sorry to cut in. I'm just fascinated by the time when you penned that down versus now when it's really on the up and up.
Yeah, I mean, the idea was that across different sectors of entertainment, whether it's media or sports, that the amounts that people would be willing to invest would keep going up, and willing to invest both in development of products, but also in the stars that make these products, right? So the fact that every high-profile basketball player has a chance to become a billionaire now, right? That's actually not too far out of reach for many. I mean, that's a mind-boggling thing, but that's been in the making for quite some time. And the writing, I think, was on the wall even a decade ago.
You talk about some of the basketball superstars you have sitting right there in the classroom with LeBron James. You sit with the Chris Paul just across you. What are they still wanting to learn? Because anybody can say, okay, you've reached the level, you've reached that billionaire status that you're talking about now. Let me be happy, let me move on. But there's that life after your sporting professional career comes to an end. And I think that's what people don't bank on a lot of the time. So having to sit there at Harvard in a classroom with these superstars, what is that like? What do you think they're wanting to suck out information-wise from you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's both about what they do during their active sporting career and what they do afterwards. So definitely they're looking ahead and saying at some point, I'll stop playing basketball, even though they're playing basketball longer and longer now. I think Chris Paul is almost 40 or maybe just turned 40. LeBron is definitely there. And so they've been playing longer and longer, but they also realize that my life after basketball my career might be longer even than my basketball career. And so they're trying to prepare for what's next. But increasingly, we also see that during their careers, they realize I'm not just a basketball player. I don't want to be just a basketball player. I want to be a business. I want to manage my own business. I want to make smart decisions. LeBron has been investing in all kinds of businesses. He has a thriving media business. He's setting himself up to become a sports team owner soon after his career is over. Chris Paul is an investor in dozens and dozens of businesses. David Beckham has been a brand for quite some time, and I think is making more money now, a decade after he stopped playing, than when he was playing. And so I think many of these, and even the less high-profile athletes, are realizing this is the time to capitalize. And so they come to Harvard and they say, what is there that you can do to help me prepare for that and to make the most of the situation I'm in?
That's interesting, though, because a guy like Beckham was already milking it, to use the word that globally is understood when somebody's really raking in the big money. But for him to own a franchise, as he does, and brings the world's biggest superstar in Lionel Messi to come and play, him playing at the most competitive level, although people thought that his game will go down because it's America. You talk about LeBron James. I know offhand that he's also a part shareholder within Liverpool, which is a soccer team, football team in England, but league champions as well. And that's why when there was a tragedy that struck and he was the first one to post, condolence messages on his social media pages, it's diverse though, Prof. I mean, that's what comes to mind. They're not just investing in what they know, which is basketball, for example. It's a very diverse portfolio that they're going into. Is that something unusual? Is that something new?
Yeah, I think they probably are looking around and seeing other examples and realizing, well, the sky really is the limit. And so if David Beckham can have a successful production studio, if he can be successful at creating his own documentary, for instance, maybe he looked at LeBron and said, well, what LeBron is doing with Uninterrupted and with Spring Hill Entertainment, I can do that too. And then we see others. We see Steph Curry realizing I can have my own television production deal, right? And so I think they're learning from each other, and they're also realizing that there are no limits, and that there might be very specific things they want to do. Now, David Beckham sold a big chunk of his business to a company called Authentic, and now he's part of this huge retail licensing operation, and so he actually makes money just off of that association. And as I said, LeBron has, I think, really big things in store after his career. And so, yes, they're definitely diversifying and they're realizing that their brand can be valuable in a number of different ways.
All right, don't go anywhere. Already fascinating stuff that is coming through because, when you talk about them respecting each other's journeys, and you would see when Beckham left a Manchester United, for example, and then he went off to another case study of yours that you have gone into detail. Maybe we'll touch on that after the break, which is Real Madrid. His jersey number at Madrid was 23 because previously Michael Jordan was, and then LeBron James was as well. And yesterday we had a guest in studio whose number, he was just signed up for one of the local teams, Sundowns, was also into jersey number 23. So it's about the continuation of those professionals, but who see 23 as a number of brilliance and excellence. I don't know if I'm striking within the right range here.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I have nothing to add to that. You're totally right.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.
Are you looking for the best savings on spectacles? At Specsavers, enjoy 1,500 Rand off when you get tested at South Africa's trusted and most established optical group. Get 1,500 Rand off all frames in store, or use your 1,500 Rand off on our leading lens enhancements, such as drive light lenses that reduce artificial glare whilst driving. Book online or call your nearest store today. Affordable eye care, Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
When you say, let's go to the park, and your daughter brings her bike, scooter, skateboard, roller skates, and teddy collection, you'll love the all-new Hyundai Alcazar. With enough space for your kiddos and all their stuff. And tech like blind spot warning and Android Auto, the 7-seat Hyundai Alcazar delivers on space, innovation, and a little more luxury. The all-new Hyundai Alcazar from 5,999 per month. 96 months term, 11.7% linked interest rate. Brought to you by Hyundai Finance, a division of Nedbank Limited, an authorized FSP. T's and C's apply.
It's all smooth and safe with LulaBet. Fast, easy sign up on all slots, hundreds of casino games, live dealer tables, and all the sports you love. Enjoy free spins and instant payouts 7 days a week. Live chat with real people 24/7. That's why more phones prefer to fly with lulabet.co.za. LulaBet. You know bets.
No person under the age of 18 years is permitted to gamble. Operator licensed by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. National Responsible Gambling Program. Toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Winners know when to stop.
Dear Journal, trying to be an adult, day 3274. Every time I go to a fancy birthday dinner, I'm reminded I'm just 5 fancy birthday dinners away from financial ruin. Note to self, don't make any more born in June friends.
Recently removed from the family payroll. Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's like 570 Rand a month, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
Big banks weren't built for small businesses, so we built something better. We made Lula, South Africa's first business-only banking suite. We reimagined banking and funding to give your business more. Like a relationship banker who cares enough to remember your name, and access to funding in as little as 24 hours. We're more than a bank. We're Lula. Visit lula.co.za and experience business class banking and funding today. Powered by Access Bank. T's and C's apply.
Choose Checkers, SA's #1 value for money supermarket, and save on Clover Crush 100% fruit juice blend, 1.5 litre for $39.99 each. Bonita or Parmalat salted butter, 500 grams for $74.99, and Baby Soft White 2-ply or Supreme Quilts toilet rolls, 18 pack, any 2 for 249 Rand. Valid until this Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Pass it in. 1-0.
That's Mamelodi Sundowns' legendary goalkeeper Dennis Onyango. He is back though to talk about the preseason grind. Fawaz Basadine, he was the target of so many clubs during the off-season, having to play 46 games in a season, being able to score like 7 goals and assist in 8 of them says a lot about the versatility of the player.
Yeah, it says a lot about him, and we also have to compliment the scouting team at Sundown because they look at all these things.
Just tell me about that experience for finally walking onto the pitch.
Yeah, no, I think the moment I stepped onto the pitch, I just felt comfortable, like with the players around me. Coming in the pitch, knowing that I'm a Sundowns player, that's a good feeling that I had when playing my debut.
God did. You either win with us or you watch us win.
#MSW.
#MSW.
Good evening, Rob, and good evening, Prof. Welcome to South Africa. I just want to find out, have you conducted a study or a research to try and understand why brands that are consumed by women don't invest or reciprocate in sponsoring women's sports or entertainment activities? Thank you so much.
Tebogo, thank you very, very much indeed. Prof, I think you got a gist of that. How would you respond to Tebogo's question?
Yeah, as I said, I mean, one of the big studies I've done in recent months is on the New York Liberty. And for me, that was very much about understanding women's sports and understanding where women's sports is going. It's quite special, I think, what's happening in the U.S. I don't know to what extent people here follow the WNBA, but we have something called the Caitlin Clark effect. So there's this superstar, Caitlin Clark, and it's amazing what she has done for the sport. It's a very exciting player to watch. She scores from the logo, from the middle of the field, actually quite often. But it's also amazing to see what she's done to the numbers. And so just from her first season playing for the Indiana Fever, they saw their attendance jump fourfold. So they went from 4,000 people a game on average to 17,000 people a game on average. And not even mentioning what's happening in terms of television viewership, which has also gone up tremendously. And so I haven't done the exact analysis, but there are estimates that say that she's worth billions of dollars for the league. And I wouldn't be surprised if it would be in the billions. And so it's quite remarkable to see. And so women's sports, therefore, has become a huge focus for me.
That is incredible, though, because she's become almost the heart and center, the heartbeat of the women's basketball. Hence, she's hated by so many of her teammates. I think the punch-ups are also just as great. But, you know, when people have that level of, I won't say anger, when they don't like you as much, then you know you're bringing something positive. And that won't last forever because, you know, every sport has its own rules. And if you're playing outside of those rules, you get punished. But for her, jeez, I mean, it's incredible what you've just said now, because I was going to ask you about some of the lessons and what sort of lessons can South African football clubs, for example, be able to learn from global giants like a Real Madrid. So what is Real Madrid doing that maybe other entities around the world, Prof, are not doing at the Bernabeu?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a number of factors, and it will take a while to go through them all, but I'll highlight two. Yeah. I think one is that they are very actively thinking about what should be our talent strategy. And so they were the first to say we're going to be willing to recruit superstars to our club in a major way, right? And this was at the time of David Beckham, where they said we have a Galactico strategy. We're not afraid to get all these people to play on our team, and we're not afraid to spend big doing so. And we're going to be building a whole marketing and merchandising infrastructure around it. We're going to be selling lots of jerseys. We're going to do lots of marketing deals in order to pay for these great players. But they also, I think, were, and this is the focus more of the case study, we're also quick to realize you can't run that strategy forever. It's going to get more and more expensive. There's more teams that are joining that competition for these players. And so they a few years ago said, let's focus more on young talent. Let's make one, maybe two bets every year on players that we think are going to be really great, but we're going to get them at a much younger age. We have to. We can no longer afford to bet on the finished product. We need to go and buy these players at a younger age. And so that's why they make the bet on Vinicius. Bellingham was expensive, but also still quite young, right? And so they've made similar bets along this line. Endrick, I think, is another example. So I think they're very good at realizing that they need to have a solid talent strategy, but also that strategy needs to evolve over time as the conditions change. So that's one. And I think the other element, which is not necessarily beloved by fans, but I think they're thinking very deeply about what's the right governance structure. What is the right way to organize European football? They were the pioneers behind the European Super League. And as I said, not necessarily something that fans embraced. But if you look, and I think they would be the first to admit that the rollout of that idea was far from ideal. They probably didn't put that in the market in the right way. But if you look under the hood, I think there's some really interesting ideas there. And this notion that it cannot be UEFA running the biggest competition. There needs to be a separate entity that runs something like the Champions League. I think there's a lot to be said for that, because there's a lot of money that you could argue is being left on the table in the current scenario.
But also just shows the split sometimes, Prof, between what UEFA's strategy is overall versus what FIFA's strategy is. And when you find a big competition like a UEFA Champions League, for example, you won't necessarily find the FIFA president being in attendance. You would expect it to be, because it still falls under the umbrella of FIFA. But when you look at it from an African perspective, and you've got a similar tournament, the CAF Champions League, the FIFA president will be there because he has better relations on the African continent than he has in Europe. So at the end of the day, there's always going to be a banging of heads, given the power play that is there. So I don't know how much of that influence, maybe in the end, maybe it was a public opinion thing, that in the end, that Super Cup idea didn't really take off.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're absolutely right about that power play. And I think also the power play between UEFA and FIFA is probably one of the key reasons why this idea that FIFA had a few years ago of having a World Cup every 2 years. Remember that?
Yes.
The UEFA was strictly against that, and they got CONMEBOL and the Latin American countries to also be in opposition of that idea. And then it sort of quickly disappeared from the point of view. And so, yes, we're seeing a very strong butting of heads between the people in power at UEFA and those in power at FIFA.
Because already the complaints are there. Prof, when you look at players, how much do they have in them to sustain the program, to sustain the league program, all the cup competitions, and almost immediately, I think it was last season when the league season had just finished and Tottenham Hotspur were rushing off to Australia for their pre-season already, because everything is commercialized. They've got to sell the jerseys, they've got to feed off the fans that are in different parts of the world. So they were almost immediately into that. You could hear Pep Guardiola saying the guys need rest, but they're going to play in the FIFA Club World Cup. Now it's pre-season already next week in South Africa. It starts this weekend. So there's never rest time. And I think Jurgen Klopp also raised it to say, guys, listen, there's this thing called the human body. We all want to watch and love to watch football. But to get optimum performance, this cannot carry on. Are those factors brought in at the end and what you've studied?
Yeah, I mean, I think it pops up not just in football, but you see it in other sports increasingly as well. You see it in tennis. You mentioned tennis earlier, where there's some loosening of the requirements for the more veteran players, right? They don't have to play all the tournaments. You definitely see it in basketball, where load management is an issue that is brought up very frequently. They play 80 games a year. We don't want the best players to sit out a lot of games, but that is, I think, increasingly happening because they want to preserve their bodies. We've had high-profile injuries in basketball affecting even the finals this year. And so it's not just an issue in football. You see it across sports, but definitely in football, I think it comes into play in a major way. And with the expanding of the Club World Cup and it being played in the U.S. in very difficult conditions, I think the heat was a major problem. I'm afraid as a fan and as an observer of the game that it will affect the coming season, right? And so there's a question as to will players need to take rest mid-season or will there be more injuries? And so that is something that I think we're all going to closely watch.
And because this time next year would be coming out of a FIFA World Cup and a different FIFA World Cup staged across 3 different, countries. And it's going to be the same weather conditions as what we saw in the FIFA Club World Cup, which are not favorable. Those breaks were taken. Not all the coaches were happy with that. The heat, the potential heat stroke that comes with it. Do you think, though, that they would take some of the lessons and potentially what would they visibly change from what they would have learned this year?
I hope so, but it's a clashing of commercial and player interest, right? Everyone knows if you play at noon on a hot day in the US, that it's going to lead to complications. But they also know if we play at noon, we have the largest television audience because that's favorable time zone wise for the European audience. And so the fact that we were seeing games being played at noon, that's not in the best interest of the player. That's in the best interest of the commercial interest behind it. And so there's a question there how that balance is going to play out for the World Cup. I hope that they favor the players because we need great performances from the players. But I also know that there's strong business interest, and so I'm relatively skeptical that we're going to see major changes going forward.
If you take a holistic view, what excites you personally in the next 5 to 10 years within the media space, entertainment space, sporting space?
Oh, so many things. I mean, the list is very long. I love the fact that, and we've talked about this a little bit with Beckham and LeBron, I love the fact that we're seeing the growing power of the superstar and that they are becoming these business entities, that they're becoming business moguls and are making some really interesting moves. So that's, I think, really exciting. I'm also loving the fact that we see these disruptor leagues. So we saw Unrivaled for women's basketball, where the players got a stake in the league. We're seeing Kings League. I don't know if that's a big thing here, but that's a big thing in Europe with Gerard Piqué, former player for FC Barcelona. And that is making waves and breaking audience records, and I think doing really interesting business and expanding globally relatively rapidly. And so I am excited about a number of innovations, I think, in that space as well.
Sure. But you talk about that aspect here, the guys at Primedia Sports, they took me through a presentation a couple of months ago, and it had exactly that with Gerard Piqué being at the heart and center of it. And I thought to myself, wow, this needs to come to South Africa as quickly as possible. Maybe you'll expand on it when you do have your masterclass Monday and Tuesday, and chatting about that. And before we do run out of time, you are here.
Well, I will say that Gerard Piqué was a student in my class, so I'm taking all the credit for all his successes ever since. He's listened carefully. He was a model student.
Oh, wow, listen to that. And now it's working
exactly.
for him.
Yeah, so as I said, I'm taking all the credit for all his
and
ideas.
You deserve it. We throw it right back at you. Keep teaching us, keep creating those superstars who were already superstars, but now they're superstars in a different way, and the world sees them differently. That's outstanding.
See, but that's a reason for everyone to come to the masterclass, right? So that they can become as smart as Gerard Piqué.
Can we give away a couple of tickets?
If you have them,
I've got them.
I would love that.
Sitting right here. I've got them right next to me.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Guys, give us a call. I have no strategy here. Prof is going to be very disappointed with me because, she loves strategy. You got to have a plan. I've got no plan. But give us a call right now. 011-883-8947. I've got 4 tickets. So call very quickly. You don't want to miss this, guys. It's a blockbuster. I was saying off air that for the past, 2-year sessions that Prof has been in the country, I've missed them because I was not in the province. So this time around, on the same days that she's going to be there, I will be there physically as well. So, the masterclass does promise insights into, building the blockbuster brands that we were chatting about earlier on. And Prof is going to be here. She's worked with NBA, Hollywood, and music icons. I don't know if those lessons will translate to South African sports executives or agents and athletes who are going to be attending. But sport is global. So it doesn't matter where you are plugged in the world because we've become just one in today's world.
Exactly, but now they're all going to want to have those tickets because they get to hang out with Africa's best sports broadcaster. So this is a very easy sell. I don't even need to sell the masterclass anymore.
Listen to you, Prof. You should become my publicist now, I think.
We've come full circle.
I think we need to exchange roles here. All right. So we're going to give those away, whether on or off air, but we do have those tickets and play along, have the energy. The times are usually from the morning, from about 8 o'clock in the morning. It's the entire day. I don't want to mention where. Next thing we have to call, security because there's long queues outside, like in a typical, football derby or rugby derby of any kind. But I can see the lines are flashing, but we will take some of those. So don't forget, guys, that it is an important, when you talk about club management or strategy, the globalization of sport as a whole, dealing with fame, dealing with pressure that comes through with it. It all gets handled. The brand building. People always talk about, me and my brand. I'm a very powerful brand. Sometimes you don't even know that you're a brand until somebody gives you the insight of how to. I don't know if there's a quick way of summarizing here, Prof, exactly what we mean when we mention brands, because so many people feel that they are a brand. Is anybody a brand?
I mean, yes, I think individuals can be brands. For me, it's really about understanding how you bring value to the table and what value you bring to the table, and then devising a strategy accordingly. And so I think what we're going to be seeing, you haven't mentioned the cases, but on Monday we're going to be doing the Real Madrid case and the New York Liberty case, and then a case on Francis Ngannou. So we're going to be talking about MMA and boxing and how that world evolves. So that should be really interesting. And then on the Tuesday, there's more focus on media. So we're talking about video streaming, hugely important for sports because that's the future, obviously. Redbird, which is the owner of AC Milan, and they have a big media operation as well. And then Take-Two, which is about the video games with Grand Theft Auto. And so there's a bit of homework involved for people. They need to know if they want to have these free tickets that Harvard comes with homework. But it should be really interesting.
All right, let me try Jackson. Jackson, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Marawa. How are you?
Very, very good. I got Prof here. I believe you want those tickets.
Yes, I'd love them, please.
How badly do you want them?
So badly. I see myself in the future of sports and everything. Yet I haven't studied anything in sports, but I'd really like to. I think this will be a stepping stone for me from the Masterclass and heading forward to the future. I'm so nervous right now.
I can tell your voice is shaking. All right, I'll ask you a very easy question. Prof Anita is from which university, business school? We've mentioned it many times.
Yeah, it's Harvard Business School.
Oh, listen to you. He's correct, right?
He's absolutely right.
Jackson, you're the first winner. You're going to take somebody with you, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'll find someone to take with me, yeah.
All right. 2 tickets are going to be coming your way, so stick around. We got all your details. Let me take Tula Sizwe. Tulas, good evening.
Yes, Robert Marawa, how are you?
I'm very good, man. Welcome to the show.
Oh, very great as well.
Prof, I don't know. Do you want to ask him anything off the shoot like that?
Well, I'm wondering if he knows if you're a fan of a particular soccer team in South Africa. I don't know if you have a favorite, but I'd love to know if he knows that.
If he knows, that's a very important question. Look at Prof causing problems here.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows.
May I get the question again, please?
Which football team do I support in South Africa?
Who? Robert Marawa?
Yes.
You support all sports teams, though, but I think you like Pirates more.
Okay, that's okay. Let's be a little bit more authentic. Which team in the Premier League do I support? I think that's a little bit more public than anywhere else.
Oh, that's general knowledge. So Manchester United.
Oh, no. Too less. What? Oh, you've just lost out on tickets, my friend. Hey,
we should give him the tickets anyway. I did a case study on Sir Alex Ferguson and Manchester United, so we're going to give him the tickets.
We'll give him. Okay, yes. We can make a plan. Don't worry.
We can't be.
We've got Anita on the line as well. Anita, we're out of time.
Hi.
Good evening. How are you, Anita?
Good evening, Robert. I hope you're not going to ask me any trick questions.
I'm here with Prof. We are co-hosting here. So Prof has a say, I have a say for your future.
So, Robert, I have a story, right? So I have a group of women, and we've just opened this sports foundation. And we are basically just cultivating and mentoring talent in the townships.
Oh.
And I think we need this so bad.
Okay, Anita, you've presented your case. You've presented your case. Prof, you agree?
I totally agree, 100%.
Yay! Thank you so much.
Anita, we'll see you on Monday and Tuesday. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Robert. Hi, Anita, and thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much. We'll grab all of those details. Prof, wow. Okay, time has flown by. I've got to release you. You got a stack of a schedule ahead of you. Up until then, I'll see you at the start of the next week. Let's have a great deal of fun. It's going to be here in Sandton, so we'll give all those details to the people who are going to be coming through. Those invited, like I said, I don't want to publicly say where I wasn't given the authority to do that unless you've got that ticket. But Prof, I wish we can have this conversation again soon.
It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Have a good one and enjoy. Enjoy our beautiful winter and enjoy Women's Month, as I said, and the weekend, which is so important. Professor Anita Albersi, Harvard University prof, and also anything to do with sport, media, entertainment. Go get that book as well, guys.
Hashtag MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time.
Hashtag MSW.
What if the car you want is also the car that makes sense? The all-electric Volvo XC40 Recharge, premium design, now with a practical promise. Guaranteed future value at prime minus 9%. Then you can choose return, keep, or upgrade your Volvo. Available at your nearest dealer. T's and C's apply. Finance is subject to approval. Initiation and monthly service fees apply. Volvo Car Finance, a product of Westbank, a division of Westbank Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. NCRCP 20.
The Bucky Bonanza is in 2 years and I'm only getting my rewards in 4 years. My Bucky won't be ready.
4 years, bro?
Yeah.
I'm with My Way and I will be getting my cash back in just 2 years.
What?
My Bucky will have all the accessories. No yada yada.
Introducing My Cashback from My Way. Stay claim-free for just 2 years and get 10% of your premiums back to live your way. Go to myway.co.za and get a quote today. My Cashback is a feature on qualifying products paid after 2 claim-free years and all premiums paid. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's apply.
At Lotto Star, we're proud to be the first in SA to offer a dedicated responsible betting program. Need to check in with yourself? Take our self-assessment quiz. Need a break? Choose a cooling off period or our easy self-exclusion option. For help and support, our independent counselors are here 24/7. Lotto Star, your world of live games. Lotto Star is licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18. NRGP 0800 006 008. T's and C's apply. All games are fixed odds betting events.
The Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra is here. With multimodal search, you can seamlessly complete tasks without having to switch between apps. Take a pic of your ingredients, talk, and instantly get recipes to get cooking. Get it now for $999 per month for 36 months on MTN Yellow Plans Prime with data to use whenever you want and minutes to call any network. T's and C's apply. Visit an MTN store or mtn.co.za now. Today, we make moves. MTN.
Feel the exhilarating power and performance. Feel the anticipation of a new adventure around every corner. Feel the breathtaking wonder of Mzansi's epic scenery. Feel the luxe vibes and the good times. Feel it all and more with the Ultimate Shell V-Power VIP experience. Spend 750 rands 3 times this month and tap your V Plus rewards card for a chance to win one of 5 epic road trip and trek experiences for 2. T's and C's apply.
Between school runs, meetings, and errands, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Allergies? Not today. Texa Allergy helps you stay alert and clear-headed. No drowsiness, just pure relief. Be your best with Texa Allergy, the #1 non-drowsy antihistamine in South Africa. Whether you're a mom or a busy professional, Texa keeps you on your game all day long. Don't wait. Head to your nearest pharmacy today. Pharmadynamics. Effective, affordable healthcare.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Pass it in. 1-all.
That's Mamelodi Sundowns' legendary goalkeeper, Dennis Onyango. He is back, though, to talk about the preseason grind. Fawaz Basadine, he was the target of so many clubs during the off-season. How was the bonus there from FIFA Club World Cup?
The bonus is dollars. We're still changing it to rands. We're still changing it to rands. We're waiting for the dollar to go up.
Oh, then you quickly go to rands. How many dollars was it?
That's what they find us.
So how many dollars do you have before it goes up?
That's for me and the boys.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
Sure. I mean, we've had so many callers coming through and saying we want to be a part of the Masterclass. Guys, listen, let me tell you that tickets are still available on Ticketmaster for both of the days that Prof will be on. So simply go to Ticketmaster and you can purchase your tickets right there. So don't think by losing out on this competition that you've lost out completely. No, you have not done so. It's fascinating, guys, and I think it really be life-changing for many, many people who want to pursue and want to go into this particular journey. So don't miss it out. Okay, let's head off now. As I talked about earlier, Chan definitely underway. South Africa having played earlier on. Let's head off now to Mthokozisi Dube, who is a Far Post editor. He is on the line, and I'm sure quite noise in the background. Everyone will understand because you've just come back from the game, from the stadium. Mthokozisi, good evening and welcome. And what did you learn? What happened?
Good evening, Rob, and good evening to the listeners. I'm still at the stadium. There's another game coming up, just after the Bafana game. But a very interesting start for Bafana. I think that 1-1 draw, I think it's a fair start, especially considering they were playing an Algeria team that beat the host 3-0. But you can see there is quality in this team. They definitely can go very far in this competition.
Lots and lots of experience there. I mean, from the defenders right through to the man who scored the goal as well. 32-year-old Thabiso Kutumela. Describe that fight back just before the halftime break.
Yeah, look, I think Bafana started off very well. They had a lot of possession, created a number of chances, but they couldn't convert. And when Algeria got their chance, they buried. And, after that goal, it looked like Algeria got back the control until the 45th minute when Malibongwe Khoza, who was playing in midfield today, then put through a nice pass to Menzi Masugu, who then set up Thabiso Kutumela, for that equalizer. Very, very, interesting move, especially coming from the young man, Malibongwe Khoza, whom we've got to know as a centre back in the senior team.
When you look at that first goal, the one that was scored by Abdunu Belhocini, I just thought a culmination of many things. Obviously, a ball ricocheting off one of our defenders,
yes.
But the strike, unmistakable. I mean, there was just so much power. Goalkeeper had no chance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a well struck, goal. You wouldn't blame the goalkeeper for that one. It was well taken. And I mean, when you look at that first half, Algeria didn't create too many chances, but, taking that one very well and, getting into the lead,
Yeah, so South Africa's chances now, what's next? Mthokozisi for them?
Look, I think the 1-1, look, is not a bad result when you consider the fact that it puts them in second place. They've only played one game. Algeria have played two, so Algeria are sitting on 4 points. Bafana playing Guinea on Monday, so they need to win that game and be level with Algeria at the top of the group. So they basically need to win their next 3 games. Of course, Algeria for me is the most difficult team in that group. So I expect to see Bafana win the next game on Monday against Guinea and put themselves in a good position to come out of this group.
Tell me, did they have any time, though, for a post-match press conference? Is there anything that you've heard from any of the technical team or technical members?
Yes. There was a press conference. We did speak to the coach. We also spoke to Malibongwe Khoza, the man of the match. So, the coach basically, happy with the start. He feels it was a good performance, and he feels that there's a lot of quality in this team and believes strongly that they can go very far in this tournament. Malibongwe was also echoing the same sentiment, also adding that there is hunger within the squad. They really want to win this competition.
All right, live from Nairobi in Kenya, there we go. Mthokozisi Dube is going to be our man on the spot again, hopefully come Monday, as we look back at Bafana and South Africa's performance in the Chan tournament. Mthogo, enjoy the weekend, Baba. Thank you so much for that update.
Thank you. Cheers.
Appreciate it, man. Also, another story that I did not want to leave here without covering, guys. I think when you look at somebody who's come from the shadows of obscurity to the summit of sporting glory, I mean, this is the stuff of dreams. And that is why I thought, hey, guys, listen, Bruce Davidson, you got to come on. You got to come and help me with this story. She was ranked 333rd, a wild card in tennis terms, a whisper in the deep. But in front of her home crowd in Toronto, Victoria Mboko roared into history. And she came from behind to conquer a 4-time Grand Slam champion in Naomi Osaka. Sure, I don't want to, let me not say much about this. Bruce is on the line from Johannesburg. He's a tennis promoter, good friend of the show, a contributor on the show. Bruce, thank you so much for your time. Good evening.
Hi, Robert. Good to be on the show, and a great introduction there. This is exciting news indeed.
I mean, I'm at a loss for words, but all I said is that even if I get Bruce for 2 seconds, all I want to say is that to the world, what have we just witnessed here, Bruce?
Well, Victoria Mbeko is from Congolese parents. She was born in North Carolina, funny enough, in the USA. Her parents had to leave war-torn Congo to escape the war and give the family a best chance. She grew up in Toronto because they moved to Toronto. And we know that over the last few years, there's been an incredible big growth of tennis in Canada. Funny enough, a couple of South Africans have been part of that, which has been great for my preparation for the show. But if you look at those players like Bianca Andreescu, US Open winner Felix Auger-Aliassime, top 10, Denis Shapovalov, Elena Fernandez, Milos Raonic, Eugene Bouchard, they've all come through this incredible system that Canada introduced many years ago. And Victoria was very lucky to be part of that, because as she arrived in Toronto, she was a perfect age to start grooming. And Jeff Couture told me 2 years ago, there's this girl that's playing on the tournament. They're playing her up in the age group. She's dynamic. I've told Tennis South Africa they've got to look at this Canadian system, because what they're doing is they're taking these 14-year-olds, playing in them in the 16 age group, getting them groomed for stardom. And he was so right. Victoria burst onto the scene, and she had an incredible tournament. And look, it was at home in Canada. She speaks French. The crowd love her. But, you talk about beating a 4-time Grand Slam champion, Naomi Osaka, 2-6, 6-4, 6-1 in the final. On the way to that final, Robert, she beat 4 major champions, Coco Gauff, Sofia Kenin, Elena Rybakina, and then, of course, Osaka to win the title. And her first WTA title, and it's a big one, a WTA 1000. She won over $750,000 US. And I see her ranking. I just checked it now, 24 in the world.
24?
Yeah, she's up to 24 in the world.
From 333rd in the world. I mean, we were speculating around 34th, which is also a crazy jump, but 24th.
Yeah, no, it's an incredible jump, and she did jump a little bit earlier to 85. So maybe you got the first ranking, which was 2 weeks old. Then it went to 85 because she had a great 2 tournaments, but the smaller ones. But from 85 to 25, it's just amazing because it's put her in another level. Everybody's noticed her. And you know what's interesting, and I know that you're a soccer man, so I'll tell you this story. One of the secrets of her success is her coach, Natalie Tozar. Now, Natalie Tozar was a very good player. She played when Amanda Kutzer was around, and I was manager of Amanda Kutzer, so I knew Natalie quite well. She got to number 3 in the world. But she's the cousin of, and you'll have to help me here, Didier Deschamps.
Deschamps, yeah.
Yes, he was the former captain and I think current manager of France.
Of France, 100%.
And so she was born in the DRC, Natalie, and then she moved to France. So she's surrounded by really good pedigree there. And to me, that makes a very, very big difference to a player as young as this 18-year-old. If you've got good coaching, who's got good pedigrees, who's connected with good champions, comes from a good family of sportsmen, it really does help you get to where you really deserve to be. But she's a great player, big serve, nice movement on the court, and a very, very humble person, I've been told.
I mean, 2 comeback wins in a row. What does that tell us about her DNA, her mental toughness, her competitive edge here, Bruce?
Absolutely. And what really, really surprised me was that she had a very bad fall in the semifinals. I was actually watching that semifinals, and she had a swollen wrist. She had to have MRI scans. It was touch and go whether she could play the final. The medical experts said that she would have a chance if it went to a long 3-setter. She might have to withdraw. She found it hard to move, and then all of a sudden, she's into that final. She sees herself winning that final, and she puts herself into that gear that makes champions champions.
Oh, you're a true champ, Bruce. Thank you so much, man. You know what? We'll chat more tennis next week. Tennis promoter Bruce Davidson breaking down probably the story around the world when it comes to tennis. It's been an unbelievable one. Bruce, thank you so much and have a great weekend.
Thanks, Robert. Keep your eye on the ball.
Thank you very, very much indeed. That's a Bruce Davidson. They're giving us a breakdown of what's happened. Currently ranked 24th. Can you imagine, from 333rd in the world, a wild card who's just roared into the history books. And again, a reminder for all of those still scrambling around for those tickets, they are available on Ticketmaster for both of those days. So make sure you are there and you can catch up on what's happening. It's a great, great platform indeed. We'll catch you again on Monday. Good luck to all the teams playing. Betway Premiership is going to be underway. Currie Cup is going to be underway. So much more as well. The Proteas on Sunday. Good luck to them. This has been Marawa Sports Worldwide. Catch us again on Monday. Proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
The thrill, the drama, the action. Let the game begin. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets. #MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live at the same time. #MSW.